Okay, good evening. Good to see everybody here. Thank you for coming. Welcome to the Littleton Regional Healthcare 111th? 111th community or annual community meeting. I'm Bill Bedore. For those of you who don't know me, I'm the board chair. I have a very small role tonight. I'm just welcoming you all here and introducing our next speaker. But before I give up the microphone, I'd just like to thank a few people, or maybe more than a few actually. I'd really like to thank the entire LRH team. LRH is a really special place. I've been here for 11 years now. Warren and I started the same year, and actually I thought I saw John Starr. Mr. Starr's here. We started together. Somehow he got off the hook after 10 and I'm still here. I'm not sure how that happened. Clearly he's more intelligent than I am. But it's really been an amazing 11 years. And I'm very proud to say that we've done some great stuff here at LRH in that time period. We've done some groundbreaking stuff, and you'll hear a little bit of that from Mr. West relative to North Country Healthcare. Our board chair from North Country Healthcare, Mark Kelly's here as well. Welcome, Mark. It's good to have you here. But that in the first 2 years has gone incredibly well, and we're very excited to report to you all the exciting stuff that's been going on there. Of course, Mr. West was replaced by Mr. Nutter. Bob will be speaking a little bit later about some of the LRH specific stuff that's been going on, both in the past year since he started, and it's been almost exactly a year, hasn't it? Yeah. So you've got it all done. It's all figured out, right? Good, good. And also some of the great plans that we've got for the future here. We've grown very significantly in that 11 years, and while growth is certainly not a measure of quality, I think in our case we've gotten better and better over that course of time as well. And again, I'm very proud of that. But LRH is really not a place. It's all about the people. And we employ a lot of people here, and we have a great team. And it's them who really get the job done. And so many of you are here in this room. I'm looking at several of you right now, and we appreciate everything you guys do on a daily basis. The board sort of gets the benefit of that, and you guys do the hard work every day. And then we ultimately get to hear about all that great stuff. And every once in a while we'll make a tough decision, but you guys are the heart and soul of this hospital, and we're really looking forward to the next 10 years. This is my last year, we think. We're pretty sure. It's a little unsure as to whether I'll be speaking at this podium next year or not. There's a little dissent over whether it's the previous year's board chair that speaks or the upcoming board chair. But either way, I want to thank you all for letting me do this interesting job for 11 years, and it'll be 12 before I wrap it up. I'm going to stay on the NCH board, I guess, so I'll still be in the mix. But thank you all for everything you do. We got a great spot here. And now I'm going to turn it over to Jeff Woodward, our treasurer, to go through the exciting part of the agenda.
Okay, so I've been clear to start with a little story to make sure that the evening doesn't get too serious. So when I was in college, I had to take a speech course, and I was in hotel motel school. And my the final exam was an impromptu speech. Had to go up in front of the class and pull a topic out of a bowl and give a 5-minute speech. So being Woodward, I went up last. There was one topic left in the bowl. The topic was sex. So I had to give a 5-minute lecture. When I was done, the class gave me a standing ovation. The professor said it was the best story he'd heard in 20 years of teaching. It was incredible. So I went home that night, got into bed. My wife was asleep and kind of nudged her a bit. She woke up and said, "So how'd it go tonight?" I said, great, I won, got first place. She goes, wow, that's awesome. What'd you speak on? I said, boating. It's great. So we both fell asleep, and in the morning, she got up before me and was gone. And when I woke up, she was out of the house, and lo and behold, she's down the supermarket and bumps into the professor. And the professor walked up to her and says, Lisa, I have to tell you, your husband gave the most incredible speech last night, 20 years of teaching, never anything like it. Class gave him a standing ovation. It was really impressive. She goes, I've been thinking about that all morning because we've been married for 4 years, and he's only tried it twice. And the first time his hat blew off, and the second time he threw up. Everybody, I ran it by a bunch. You would have too. So they want to add some levity before the financials. You weren't running this.
I didn't know I had a slide.
Okay, so the statistics are the revenue, gross revenue for last year was $163 million, as you can see. The net revenue is $85 million. The difference there is what's actually billed and what is actually received by LRH with the contracts that we have with Anthem, Medicare, Medicaid, obviously with the other policies out there. All the deductibles have gone up the last couple of years with the change in health care, and a lot of those high deductibles aren't being paid, so there's more uncollectible money. So that's the reality is we bill $163 million and we actually receive about $85 million, almost half. The interesting thing in 2016, that $163 million was $32,000 ahead of the last year. So we're only $32,000 apart on $163 million of revenue. It's pretty amazing. The next line shows our operating margin, or the profit, which was just over $800,000. In 2016, the profit margin was only a couple $100,000. So the reality is we picked up about $650,000 in profit margin compared to the prior year. With that said, the $85 million that we actually netted the year before was, yes?
You're too close to the mic.
Oh, sorry, okay. Okay, sorry. So the $85 million last year was actually $87 million. So we actually netted $2 million more last year, but this year we made $650,000 more profit, which goes directly to the management and the staff here at the hospital who really controlled expenses really well. That should have been about a $2.5 million difference, and the reality is we made more money. So that goes out to the staff and the management here at the hospital who controlled expenses and did a great job with that. Total assets is $102 million. Total patient visits is 123,000 visits, patients. That's a little bit down from last year. Physicians and providers practices, we have 144 here in the hospital. Total staffing is 499 staff. That's 296 full-time, 129 part-time, and 74 per diems. The total community benefit expense is $3.3 million, and that's made up of charity care, donations, flu shots, Medicaid, free care, and donations of employees' time who benefit the community and all they volunteer in as well. So this chart shows you what we just spoke about, which was the blue line is the total revenue over the last 5 years, and you can see the last 2 years were almost identical. And the orange line or brown line is the net revenue. That's the, again, that $85 million we receive, which is not what we bill. It's about half of what we actually bill. This slide shows the patients served, and the purple line is the physician practices, and that's the patients they serve. The green line is outpatient services. The red line is the emergency room, and the little blue line on the bottom is inpatient. So that's kind of a mix of what the hospital sees for patient services. This chart goes back to the operating margins, which I just spoke about, and you can see as the health care has changed dramatically in the last couple of years with all the things that have been coming down from our government, what it's done to profit margins, and that's not unlike most facilities. we're not any different. You can see last year we did have the tick up, which again, most of that came from good management and cost savings. And if I projected ahead to this coming year, we're budgeted to about 1.7 million, so it actually come back up to closer to the 2014 levels, and that's what the budget and projections are for this year. But this really shows the changing market and how things have been over the last several years with all the changes in healthcare. The other thing we just had last month, our auditors came in, Barry Dunn, and presented some statistics for us where they compared us to our peers, other hospitals in the region and the North Country. And it was interesting, like total margin, which is down in the bottom there, days cash on hand, days and net patient accounts receivable, so how quickly we would get our money from our patients, cash flow to debt and long-term debt to capitalization. All those charts that they compared us to our peers, LRH was ahead of all of them across the board. So it just shows not only our stats and how we do, but how we do against our peers, and LRH is in really good shape. The other thing, as you know, I'm sure that the stock market had a very good year last year, and we do have a pretty good size endowment here at the hospital. And the investment account last year was up well over $3 million in 1 year, which is a real positive for the hospital. So the reality is the hospital's in great financial shape. It's got good leadership here, and the budgets in the future look really positive, as well as because of the endowments and the cash that's generated, the hospital's in really strong financial shape as well. So I think LRH is really set up very well for the future. That's all I have. Anyone have any questions? Okay.
I'm John Sauter from the LRH Fundraising Committee. I've been here a few more than 11 years. Matter of fact, my wife was in school with your mother. That's right. 2017 was a good year. We had $160,000 in donations. This represented 350 donors. And while we didn't conduct a capital campaign this year, we did have a Grateful Patient campaign, which also brought in an extra 100 patients. These are the patients that have been here, and they have had a chance to honor the staff members who've provided outstanding care. These are all basically new donors and can add to our list of people to look forward to donations in the future. We had 60 area businesses and individuals who provided in-kind donations. Most of these are for fundraising events such as the Women's Health Conference, providing raffles, auction items at the golf tournament, et cetera. And in addition to that, the additional gifts came from individuals, from businesses, and some from grants. This year's Dr. Moose Golf Tournament set a record for the net gross, from the net of $35,000. And the proceeds from the event were supportive of the birthing center. We had 36 teams on the 18-hole golf course, and we had to expand and use their 9-hole golf course. Some people find this is nice. They don't have to do a whole 18 holes to donate money to us. This year, the event's going to be on August 24th, so you can write that down in your book. We hope we'll increase the numbers and use more of the 9-hole people. Annual North Country Women's Health Conference actually netted $8,000. We've run this for many, many years, and usually we do it as a community benefit. This is the first year we actually made a profit on it, and we want to thank the corporate sponsors for supporting the event. This year, again, it's going to be the day after Mother's Day on May 14th. The event is going to be on May 14th, and we hope you all will attend. In 2017, we raised money and received donations for the following things: the caravan transportation for LRH patients, clinical staff and nursing scholarships, community wellness programs, diabetes education, family support team, the Gale Medical Library, the Helping Hands program, Safe Car Seats for Newborns program, the capital equipment needs for the birthing suite, support of the Century Fund endowment, which is still in existence, the Reach Out and Read program, and for uncompensated care. There are many ways you can support the fundraising efforts of LRH, and this includes direct required distributions from IRAs and 403Bs accounts, which have survived the new tax reform legislation. We encourage you to contact Gail Clark and Caitlin Murray for any questions you have and to make donations. Finally, I'd like to thank everyone who's involved with the fundraising efforts at the hospital. And if you want to pick up your annual report and read the back part of it, it tells you what an exciting year it has been for LRH. Thank you. Auxiliary.
So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Gail Clark. I am pleased to be serving as the president of the Hospital Auxiliary. I also am the director of marketing and community relations. And I can say I've had the pleasure of working at LRH for 15 years. You know, I just want to say real quickly, fundraising is not always about how much you raise. It's about the friends that you make. I think that over the years, I have found that to be far more important than how much we have raised. And I say that because we've made some incredible friends. We've got wonderful board members, people that just support us all year long. So I'd like to take a minute to extend a special thanks to all of the auxiliary members here tonight. And if you would just raise your hand. Look at this. That's great. What an amazing group of individuals. It's not only volunteers, it's also staff who work here who just feel the passion of being part of the auxiliary. It's a great group of people who are willing to do just about anything to raise money and make friends for the hospital. So many thanks to all of you too, though. Many of you that are in the room, you shop at the gift shop, you shop at the kiosk in the medical office building, you attend special sales throughout the year. All of the money that you spend and all of the things you purchase go toward the fundraising efforts for the auxiliary, and we really, really appreciate it. I have to say that in 2017, thanks to the guidance of Cindy Mitchell, the outgoing president, the auxiliary they net $33,000, and that is through, and this is all volunteer, that is through the gift shop, that is through the kiosk, that is through a number of fundraising events that take place probably on a monthly basis. So there's almost never a month that goes by that we don't have some kind of a sale here at the hospital. So we all get to have our retail therapy and work at the same time. In 2017, I think this is amazing. The auxiliary provided $17,500 in scholarships. And the majority of those scholarships went to area high school students who were furthering their career in healthcare, and then a portion of them went to LRH staff who again are furthering their career in healthcare. And I think that's pretty incredible for a small group of volunteers to pull that off. And $2,500 of that amount was given in memory of a dear auxiliary member, Marion Edmonds, who passed away, and her family set up a memorial in her memory. So we were really fortunate to have not only the $1,500 that we ordinarily give out, but another $2,500. The auxiliary made a $10,000 donation to the LRH Caravan. They are our biggest funder. The caravan is transportation for the patients to come and go from LRH when they have an appointment. We really appreciate that continued support. And I'd like to present a check to Bob Nutter at this moment. There's the check, and then after the meeting, if you would having your picture taken with Barbara Langworth.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Thank
And then
you.
you can give that back to me after.
I was gonna ask
Huh? Okay, so let's see. Another thing that the auxiliary does, they support the Women's Health Conference, and I have to say that they give $2,000 as a sponsor, but that's not all. If you attend the Women's Health Conference, every woman who is at that registration table is an auxiliary member. And then there are some auxiliary members that aren't here who work endlessly before the event to make sure that every registration is, exact, and so they do so much. I know that Caitlin will probably agree with me that we couldn't do it without them. Another thing that the auxiliary does is oftentimes patients come into the emergency room unplanned and they need clothing to go home in. And the auxiliary provides sweats during the winter months and then t-shirts and shorts or pants during the summer months. And they've actually, they're going to extend that to the med-surg unit because again, there are some patients that come in and they don't have clothes to go home in. They also support the LRH Family Support Team, the Born to Read and Reach Out and Read program that our young patients benefit from. And if you've had the pleasure of being here during the holiday season and have seen what Sandy Monroe and her team do to transform this hospital into just a holiday wonderland, it's beautiful. So thank you very much to all of you. So these are just a few things that the auxiliary does. So if you would just join me in extending a special thanks, I'd appreciate that. And then quickly, I'm almost done, Bob. At this time, I'm going to invite Maggie and John Starr to come up for a minute. So Maggie has worked, and I say worked, tirelessly for 6 years, managing the gift shop as a volunteer. And not only just managing the gift shop, her and John, come on, John, her and John opened when we built the MOB, the medical office building, they decided that we needed a gift shop over in the MOB so that if patients came in through those doors, they could purchase a paper or whatever. And on any given day, you could see Maggie sitting by the kiosk, knitting and just enjoying every minute of it. So I want to just extend a special thank you from the board and from all the auxiliary. There's a gift, and then well, very well deserved. Signed yours. Yeah, go ahead.
I would just like to say, is that close enough? Yeah.
Get a little closer.
I would just like to say that while I get the flowers and the applause, the secret to the success of the gift shop is the staff. We have wonderful sales clerks, buyers, backroom people, bookkeepers, merchandisers who come in as volunteers day after day, year after year, and just put together a shop that is a pleasure to come into and shop and a pleasure to manage. So really, I'm not giving these to them, but they should go to them. So thanks.
Enjoy. Thank you again. So after Maggie broke the news to us, we did some searching and we did some advertising for someone to step up to the plate and be the next gift shop manager. And I am very pleased, if Jill would stand up, that we found Jill Berger. I think Jill is my neighbor, but she actually told me last week, yeah, you interviewed me in Walgreens, which I did. I actually talked to her and told her what we needed, and I thought she would be perfect for the job, and I think we're all very happy to have her. And then lastly, thank you, Jill. Lastly, I'm going to ask Cindy Mitchell to come up real quick. If any of you have been by the gift shop, you've seen the beautiful quilt that is out back. Dr. MacArthur's mother made that quilt. I think this is the second year?
Second time, yes.
Second time that she has made a beautiful quilt, and we thought, what better time to pick a winner than tonight? And then I'm all done.
What if I get my name?
If you get your name, that's all right. And the winner may not be here, but
Diane Talata?
Diane Talata, okay. She's not here, but Diane is the lucky winner. You want to keep that? I'll lose it.
Okay.
All right. All right, so anyway, thank you so much for allowing me to take a few minutes to tell you about the auxiliary, and keep shopping. Thank you.
Are we playing with this thing or not? Are we playing? Great. So good evening. First, I want to take a quick introduction. I think most of you know me, but I'm the loud Irish guy that hangs out down the hallway. I do ears, nose, throat, facial plastic surgery, and allergy. I was asked to give a medical staff report just briefly tonight after serving for the last year of the medical staff president, which I've been honored to do. It's been a very good year. We've had some changes, both internally and staff-wise, and we've partnered well, I think, both at our local hospital and at the system level, and we continue to work together. First, I want to thank you, I guess, one, for coming, but two, for being very active participants within our community. I think we as medical staff not only want to strive to provide great care, but appreciate partnership and active patients. As you saw, everyone that raises their hand, that volunteers and helps the community and the hospital, we only are as good as the whole unit that we are, and that's a large part of what you are. So we as providers really appreciate that going forward. Over the past year, Bob and I have got to work quite extensively. One of the big missions that he brought to Littleton was to have more physician partnership. His slogan that we all like to call it, that we hear down the hallway, is to be more patient-centric, physician-led, professionally managed culture in the hospital. I think this is a huge, strong foundation that's helped us to both retain our quality providers and will help us to recruit going forward. Working as a medical staff president, I've discussed this a lot with our colleagues, and I think there's a lot of excitement, beyond this kind of new culture change. I think people are re-energized and looking forward to continued growth and success. The next couple bullets talk about some awards that the hospital and the providers have achieved. The first talks about a Center for Medicare and Medicare Service Award, which we all know the government does not give out anything. So to get this award is very remarkable. From what I know, I think, and Warren may correct me, I think this is we're one of two or three places that have achieved this in New England. So this is very significant for quality, patient expectations, and very, very difficult to achieve. Both, the providers take credit, but as well as all the team effort that goes beyond making the patient experience from start to finish an excellent experience is really, what that reflects. Press Ganey is an outpatient survey company that we use. We did receive an excellence award for that, which compiles patient data and patient survey. We had a 4-star rating by Medicare.gov. Again, very hard to achieve from the government standpoint. 7 Littleton area physicians, both employed and community docs, received New Hampshire Top Doc honors. I'd like to mention them quickly because often they don't get the recognition. Sometimes Dr. Kaufman, Dr. Rocky, Dr. Kogan, Dr. David Ferris, Dr. Pollack, Dr. Silva, and Dr. Ford were selected this year. They had some good publication and some good recognition. So if you see them, give them a little pat on the back. That goes a long way. From a system standpoint, we continue to work with our sister facilities and begin to talk about a good clinically integrated network. Warren has done a great job trying to collaborate our system efforts. I enjoy those meetings. We get together quarterly from a medical staff perspective because I think everyone really in the room truly cares what the provider's input is. And as we build our health network, I think that there's a big incentive for us to be included in that, which I think is important. I'd like to say for the awards, a big thank you to the past and current quality department. Dr. Duffy is helping head that, but Dr. Sauter has been part of quality forever, and they've done a lot of hard work, and those awards really reflect on dedication from a lot of people. So I can't list them all, but thank you for all the effort because it makes us all look great. So that's just a quick update from the medical staff side. I look forward to continuing involvement both with the board and administration. And if you ever have any questions about what the med staff is doing, snag one of us, snag me. I'm always happy to answer any questions. So thanks again for coming.
So that makes it a little tough to follow. We have done some amazing things here, but the first thing I'd like to do is give support to the senior management team here and all the leaders. If you could just step up just for a second, raise your hand if you're in the back. These are the people that really actually do a heck of a lot of the work in this organization. So while I'm up here, talking to you folks, these are the folks that really did a lot of work. And there was a ton of stuff, as you've already heard, that we already accomplished this year. And we have a lot of things on our agenda for next year, the year we're already in. We're already a quarter into the next year, actually. But thank you all for coming out, too. I know you've already been thanked a few times out there, but 111th annual meeting. This is really amazing. It's great. The board and the physicians have talked a little bit about some of the accomplishments that we've had here. And there have been a number of accomplishments, and these are great. Am I supposed to be clicking? You're supposed to be clicking. The real boss is Nancy. I can't do anything without being told what to do, so sorry about that, Nancy. Will that show up in my review? All right. So I wanted to share with you a story that came in from a friend of a patient that was here. I think it's a remarkable story. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I'm going to share with you an excerpt from it. And the reason I'm not going to read the whole thing is I wouldn't be able to get through it without really choking up. And I do a good enough job on my own embarrassing myself. I don't need to see you up here, see me up here wiping my eyes away. But there's a, do we have that on the slide? One more click. See, Nancy has me all set up here. So, so this is an excerpt. This is just a little piece of a letter that I received from a gentleman who was close friends to a couple that we served, we cared for here. I'm writing you a thanks for the staff who took care of our dear friends with such grace and loving care. Your team gave my friend and his wife their long-awaited dignity, the self-respect that they had lost in the process of his illness. Your hospital's choice to admit our friend to hospice was a godsend that his wife needed to receive this at this stage of their journey. Carrie, Mandy, and the doctors and all the staff were so kind and so attentive to their every need. It is so very obvious that your hospital has a spirit of caring for patients, their family, and friends. I'm starting to get choked up already reading that. But this is what this hospital is really about. We're caring for our neighbors, we're caring for our friends, and people take that to heart. It's really the staff here that makes the big difference. And you know, I've been in other places. I'm so honored to be serving as the president of this organization, because with all those awards that you've already seen that we've achieved, that's the staff, that's our doctors, that's the people in this room, that's the auxiliary, that's all of us pulling together to accomplish these things. It's something to be very, very proud of. This is a wonderful facility that we have here in this community, and we should feel very proud of everything that we've been accomplishing. There are a few things that we're working on this year, this fiscal year. As I was preparing for this meeting, we just came from a board meeting, and Mr. Bador said, why don't you share a few of those things that we're working on? It's a good idea. So we've got a number of different initiatives that the board has asked that we continue to move forward with. They're all based on our community needs assessment that we did in partnership with North Country Healthcare. And in a moment, Warren's going to come up and talk a little bit about North Country Healthcare. So as we've talked about some of the things that we need to do as a community, some of the services that are missing or that are needed, so that we continue to evolve as our community evolves, and we can make sure that we're marrying up with the things that are really needed in this community. So there are a few initiatives that I'll share with you that our board has asked that we continue to explore, and they fall under different categories. So we know there's a real issue, a real need for our community to be more, I hate the term compliant, but when a physician writes a prescription, for example, they want to make sure that we get that prescription filled. They don't write it because they write it because a patient really needs that. So we are also trying to make sure that patients are more compliant with their prescription medications, but also that we develop something called door-to-doc. And so we are intending to open up a retail pharmacy here on this campus as part of the hospital. So that'll take us a little bit of work to get that stuff done. Greg Cook is probably going to lead us through that, and he's our director of pharmacy here, but also is the director of pharmacy for all of North Country. And the other initiative that we just talked about a few moments ago was a comprehensive pain management program. And we're intending on that to help in a way to help with the statewide opiate epidemic that's out there. And how do we do this differently? How do we think differently? How can we be creative with the way we address this? Not just here at Littleton, but also throughout all of North Country. So we do this in partnership with our sister facilities that are out there. And I think it's a wonderful, wonderful place for us to be. So with that, I'm going to invite Warren up here to give a few remarks. I'll click. Keep going. And Mr. West.
So, hello everybody. Thank you very much for coming out tonight. First I'd like to say, Mr. Nutter, thank you very much for joining the LRH family. It's been a great year. I particularly appreciate you cleaning up some of the messes I left for you. But you certainly have taken care of the foundation and continuing to build upward. So we do appreciate it. My role tonight is to talk a little bit about the healthcare system and how we're moving forward with North Country Healthcare. You can see we've got a new brand, a new look for our entire system. Hopefully you're seeing us in the airways, television, radio, newsprint, social media. Yes, Gail, I said social media. Don't know what it means, but I know we're out there. Who are we at North Country Healthcare? So we are 4 hospitals and a home health agency. We are what we consider the first ever in the nation of 4 critical access hospitals coming together to serve a region without a mama ship. That says to us, or at least it says to me, we got to invent what we're doing every day. We don't have somebody telling us what we're doing. So I like to say every now and then we're taking 2 steps forward and sometimes we take 1 step back, but we're always moving forward. I think the partnership among the 4 hospitals and the home health agency and the system is going fantastic. Is it perfect? No, it's an evolution. It's not going to be perfect, but we are making major strides. So what is our mission? Our mission at North Country Healthcare is for North Country Healthcare to assure consistent, high-quality, accessible, integrated healthcare across the communities we serve, from the notches north. Our vision, North Country Healthcare, our vision is what we want to be in the future, not what we necessarily are today. So to create a sustainable, efficient healthcare system to continuously improve the health of the communities we serve by coordinating, integrating, and partnering with all healthcare organizations in the North Country. We've got a long way to go. We've got to work on population health. We work in a community, in a region that has the sickest patients, most economically challenged, right? Least educated. And our job is to get them with their health indicators out of the cellar of the state and improve it. We can't do that alone. We can't do that with the 5 hospitals, with the 5 entities. We have to partner with our FQHC friends. We have to partner with our nursing home friends, our behavioral health friends, our service agencies out there. It's going to take a lot of effort, and to get to that vision, it's going to be a 5 to 10-year journey, but that's what we have to do. So that is our vision. We have a great working partnership with our FQHCs. Again, I would say to you, first in the nation, where 4 critical access hospitals and 3 FQHCs have come together and developed an LLC, a limited liability corporation, to take on insurance company and risk, to bear risk in contracting. So we're doing a great job with our partners, and we're very proud of our partnership with our FQHC friends. What are some of our major achievements? So completed our strategic plan was the first initiative that the system board worked on. We integrated 3 nursing home agencies into North Country Home Health and Hospice. What were the 3? We had North Woods, we had the Home Health Agency in Berlin, and we had North Country. And we integrated them in this year, brought them together under one umbrella, and brought them into the system. We are, as Dr. Fitzpatrick mentioned, working very hard on this clinically integrated network so we can take on population health together with our FQHCs. That's a work in progress, but I think it's going very well. We all understand our mission and what we need to accomplish. We had a great year in our ACO and had shared savings of about $7 million, which is fantastic for where we are and who we are. And some of that money and proceeds will come back into our region for reinvestment into healthcare needs. We started consolidation in functions. So we have standardized pay scales, we have standardized HR policies, standardized benefits now for the first time in the system, standardized retirement benefits for the first time, and just 2 weeks ago, we generated 1,400 checks in a single payroll system for our employees. So we're making some great strides in bringing systems together. We've identified system leadership for key operational areas. Those include HR, physician practices, information technology, health information management, pharmacy, laboratory, revenue cycle, privacy, compliance, and credentialing, and education, all in a year and a half. But now we have system-wide leadership in those areas. We talked recently, and I'm sure you've seen our branding and marketing initiatives. You will continue to see those through September. We did a strategic pricing initiative. We took our 25 most commonly used modalities within our 4 hospitals and standardized our pricing there. And we're going to continue to standardize our pricing into the future. So hopefully sometime in the future, don't know how many years it'll take, but it will take a while. You know, when you go to one of our hospitals, any one of our hospitals, the pricing will be the same. But that, despite what you might think, is a very heavy lift, and we've got to do it strategically. Financial bottom line. So our system last year, combined bottom line was $3.8 million. I don't know if you remember the slide that Mr. Woodward showed recently about the challenges we've had in the prior years. So that was an average of 2.1% for all 4 of our hospitals. So what does that mean? 41% of critical access hospitals in the country are losing money. And we're making 2% of a bottom line because of the system and taking out costs. So shared savings, $6.5 million. So we're building systems, building our future, but we're doing it in a cost-effective fashion. And we're taking dollars out of the system so we can be a more efficient system. We have a great cohesive president's team. And I smile when I say that because it's a pleasure working with them and we have a lot of fun, but we got a lot of hard work done. And then our boards. Our boards at each of our entities have been very supportive of our activities. They are committed to our mission and vision, and that is what making us successful. So with that is a brief update on what's going on with the system. And I'm the only thing between you guys and some great food. Do you have any questions?
After that comment.
And I will turn it back over to Mr. Nutter. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, so the reality is I'm between you and that food out there. So I'm going to make this really quick and we'll close things up. But again, it doesn't happen without the people in the room. So thank you to the board members that are here. I actually have a little thank you gift for you all. I'm going to ask Nancy and maybe Dawn to help distribute that. If the Board of Trustees that are here could please stand up for a moment. This is probably something new, but we like to give stuff away and thank people for all their efforts on here. But stuff doesn't happen without the board's support as well. So what they're distributing here are just a little token of appreciation for all their extra hard work that they do. This is actually co-branded. Did you have the co-branded one?
I'm asleep at the board meetings now.
That's right. It's a onesie. It's a onesie.
So we could turn down the heat in the boardroom, save some money.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. Absolutely. But seriously, thank you to the Board of Trustees. I appreciate everyone coming out tonight. I appreciate everyone's efforts. Thank you so much, and let's go enjoy some of Jurgen's great cooking out there and their team. So thanks again.